You're tucked under the sheets, clutching your phone in one hand. Your mind is practically begging you to shut your eyes for tomorrow's shift. But your thumb refuses to cooperate. It just keeps swiping, completely on autopilot. 3 hours fly by, and you suddenly realize your head is packed with priceless trivia, like the fact that sea otters hold pause while sleeping to keep from floating away. Whether it's scrolling through a bizarre Reddit breakup over a laser tag game or watching a guy build a jungle mud pool at 2 a.m., modern humans are absolute champions at sabotaging our own rest. But if you went back 30,000 years, getting safe sleep was way harder. Long ago, nightfall didn't bring thoughts of social media gossip. Instead, our predecessors were focused purely on escaping the jaws of active predators. After dusk, the prehistoric world transformed into a living nightmare. From a physical standpoint, we are practically defenseless once the lights go out. Humans have awful night vision. No claws, no sharp fangs, and zero speed. Dropping a Homo sapiens into a midnight forest 40,000 years ago turned them into a shivering, defenseless snack for predators. And back then, the nighttime darkness was absolute. Nothing like the ambient glow of today's cities. Back then, no street lamps or cozy window glow pierced the night. The dark was total and suffocating, the kind where you raised your hand to your face and saw absolutely nothing. And out there, waiting in the deep shadows, were wolves, hyenas, cave lions, and perhaps a hostile tribe. To survive the night, they required a brilliant defense. Their most powerful safeguard wasn't a sharpened stone spear, but fire itself. Mankind has masterfully harnessed flames for hundreds of thousands of years, using it for much more than just preparing meals. It served as our light, a heater, insect repellent, a safety barrier, and honestly, a free therapy session for the mind. Truly, there is a reason we can gaze into a crackling fire for hours. Research reveals that staring at flickering fire actually decreases your blood pressure, triggering a deep calm, similar to meditation. The reason? Eons of human evolution programmed our minds to associate fire with survival and security. But here is where it gets truly wild. Controlling fire effectively lengthened our days. Beforehand, nightfall brought an abrupt end to activities. Daylight was entirely spent on basic survival, foraging, hunting, and crafting weapons. Only under the cover of night, gathered around the hearth, did humanity find the peace to pursue creative, non-essential wonders. To contemplate, dream, chat, and share tales. Numerous experts argue that sophisticated speech and human society were forged not during daytime foraging, but over these late-night chats. Those glowing embers gathered people around the prehistoric equivalent of Netflix, social media, and search engines. In early tribes, your social standing was tied to your narrative skills. This makes influencer the actual oldest trade in history. But instead of digital clickbait, their hook was, "Dude, you won't believe what just went down in the forest." Still, how did they handle things when it was time to turn in for the night? How do you imagine our ancestors slept? Surely not just dropping onto the freezing bare ground. In reality, prehistoric bedding was surprisingly sophisticated. Inside South Africa's Sebredu cave, researchers discovered 77,000-year-old mattresses. Far from primitive, these ancient beds were actually marvels of early engineering. They started with a base layer of ash. This was crucial because it blocked the chill of the stone while warding off pests and destroying parasites. Next came a cushioning layer of soft grass and reeds. Finally, they crowned it with selective leaves, chosen specifically for their natural ability to repel insects. Nearly 77 millennia ago, early humans were already fabricating natural insect-repellent bedding. Yet today, armed with advanced chemical sprays, we remain helpless against these pests. Our ancestors also prioritized hygiene to an unimaginable degree. Forget basic seasonal tidying. Their approach to a sanitary home was far more extreme. To eradicate germs, they would actually torch their old bedding and start anew, a prehistoric method of deep cleaning. Yet their actual sleep habits were even more bizarre. Our modern goal of a continuous 8-hour sleep block might actually be entirely unnatural. Prior to the rise of industry, people experienced a split sleep schedule. They typically fell asleep at dusk, rested for roughly 4 hours, and then awoke during the midnight hours. For an hour or two in the dead of night, they'd wake up to chat, pray, stoke the embers, or, let's be honest, get intimate to keep the family line going. Quite understandable. Once finished, they would drift back off for their second round of slumber until dawn. Back then, waking up in the middle of the night wasn't labeled insomnia. It was just a natural rhythm. Today, however, if you find yourself awake at 3 a.m. overanalyzing some trivial text from years ago, we diagnose it as a sleep issue. Rest assured, your body is functioning exactly as it should. The rise of industry brought us strict timetables, shift work, and early morning alarms, squeezing our sleep cycles just to keep us punctual. But here is the reality. Although you live in a smart home connected to the internet, your biological hardwiring is still trapped in the Paleolithic era. Why do you cue up precipitation audio to nod off? In prehistory, wet weather hid your scent from hunting beasts. Why does sharing a bed bring comfort, while solo silence breeds dread? Your ancient psychology. And why does midnight screen gazing keep your eyes wide open? That's because blue light tricks your mind into believing the sun is shining indoors. Now, consider the mystery of dreaming. Picture yourself 40,000 years ago. Fast asleep, your consciousness drifts away. Suddenly, deceased ancestors appear. Terrifying beasts pursue you, and you wander through surreal, impossible landscapes. Then you open your eyes without any scientific or psychological framework to make sense of it. It's easy to see why ancient societies viewed dreams as gateways to other realms. To our ancestors, the boundary between sleep and waking life was virtually invisible, an incredibly ironic contradiction. Early humans survived in a landscape of endless perils. Deprived of modern medicine, secure shelters, temperature control, and soft mattresses, they nonetheless rested according to their biological clocks, existing in harmony with nature's rhythm. Today, we live as the most secure generation in history. Still, we find ourselves wide awake, eyes locked on the dark ceiling at 2 a.m.,